this is Kamini Verma, an assistant professor in School of Liberal Arts at GNA University. And today I'm going to take up an essential topic which is quite important for the students in improving their pronunciation and the speaking skills, that is phonetics and spoken English. So the contents in this session which I'm going to cover are the phonetics, its definition and branches, phoneme, its classification, and international phonetic alphabets, and we are going to cover only consonants in the today's session. So moving ahead with the first thing, that is phonetic. Whenever we use the term phonetic is basically the scientific study of the production, transmission and reception of speech sounds. Means it is basically dealing with the things that how do we produce the sounds, how do we transmit the sounds, and how do a listener perceive the sounds. It is uneasy to understand the speech sounds of a language if we have acquaintance with the phonetics. So phonetic is having basically three branches related to it. As I had said earlier, that it deals with the production, transmission and reception of the sound. So the articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetic and auditory phonetic deals with three major aspects. So articulatory phonetics, the method of describing the speech sounds in terms of the movements which is done by the vocal organs of a human body, which will itself an important session for us, which we will be covering in the next days itself. So the primary focus of the articulatory phonetic is to focus on how speech sounds are being produced by a speaker, how the organs of the human body help in the production of the speech sound, that is covered under the terminology articulatory phonetics. Moving ahead with the second one, that is the acoustic phonetics. Now this deals with the process of transmitting by the speaker to the receiver, means it calculate the waves, it check the physical properties of the speech, analyze the sound waves and the signals which have been transmitted by the speaker toward the side of receiver. And the third branch of phonetic, which is the auditory phonetic, it is associated with the understanding part which lies at the end of receiver. That how do receiver perceive the things what the speaker is saying to them. So the three types of phonetic, these three branches of phonetics together help us to understand how to produce a sound, how to transmit a sound, and how do a receiver should perceive a sound. As I have discussed that in the content part, today we are going to take up the one important aspect of it, that is phoneme, which Bloomfield has once said that it is the minimal unit of distinctive sound feature, because there is a slight change in one phoneme can change the meaning of a word. For example, if I say the word sat, but instead of sat, if I say bat, so I have changed only one thing over here, one sound over here, and it has changed the meaning for you people. So whenever we talk of phonemes, there are total 44 phonemes in English language. But when it comes to the alphabet, we usually say there are total 26 alphabets, A to Z or A to Z. So these 26 alphabets are the one which are used for the process of writing, which we need at the time of writing. But when it comes to the speaking, we do not speak those alphabets. We speak sounds, and those sounds are made up of these phonemes itself. As an example, if I take a very simple word which is a common necessity of a student life, the word is pen. If we want to write, we will write it as P-E-N. But when it comes to the speaking of this word, we will never call it as P-E-N. We will be calling it as pen. So the pen itself is something we are producing sound here, not the alphabets. So the alphabets which we use it for the writing, and this time when we are speaking, we are using sounds. There are certain languages, as we take the example of our national language, that is Hindi. Hindi is a language which uses the same alphabets at the time of writing as well as the same sounds at the time of speaking. For example, if I want to say the word calm in Hindi, the calm should be ka, a, na, and I'm speaking again the same calm. Ka, a, na, calm. But when it comes to the English, what we write and what we speak, these are two different categories. So whenever we talk of phonemes, there are total 44 in number, out of which 24 are the consonantal sounds and the 20 are the vowels. So the 24 consonants, again a surprise for the English users because we have studied 26 alphabets so far. So out of those 26 alphabets, we consider that the 21 are the consonants and only the 5 A, E, I, O, U are the vowels to us. So we need to understand, but when it is the time of speaking, the sounds are different. So that's why their number is also different. So the 24 consonantal sounds and 24 vowel sounds. Moving ahead with the thing that those 20 vowels are further divided into two categories, 12 monophthongs and 8 diphthongs. Now monophthongs and diphthongs, again the next sessions will be delivered on these things to explain them in detail, but to make it little clear to the users in the first go itself that the monophthongs are the pure vowels, where there is only one movement of our tongue, whereas the diphthongs are the mixed where our tongue glides twice from one place to another. So that's why we have total 20 vowels divided into two categories. As in the content section, as I have discussed, that today's session will be purely on the consonantal sound. So we'll be talking about the consonants today. So International Phonetic Alphabets means these are the alphabets which have been designed by the International Phonetics itself, that there are total 24 consonantal sounds which a person uses at the time of speaking. So the sounds which are written over here, I'll be speaking them in one go as a quick one, but later on I'll be explaining every single sound to you in detail. The sounds written from the left and right, because hopefully you can see on the screen that the sounds have been written in the form of a pairs itself, that the first 8 sounds have been written in the form of pair. From the letter P to some new symbols to you, you find that they are written in the form of pair itself. And from the sound H itself, which seems like an H to you people, until the W, it seems like that few of them are H's written on the left hand side. From the M onward, the rest of them are written on the side of right. Because there is again a logic behind it, which we'll be covering in the coming session. So, now let's begin up with the thing that what these sounds are. A quick review for them, even you can relate it with your native language, that is Hindi itself, because if you are not a Hindi language user, then it is not necessarily possible for you to relate it with your other local language itself. So the sounds over here are P, B, T, D, K, G, F, W, S, Z, Th, D, Sh, the sound in measure pleasure, Ch and the J, H, M, N, A, Y, R, L and what? I know it was a little quick for us to understand what these sounds mean, how we can relate it with them, because it is giving us a reminiscence of our Hindi language itself, which we have studied itself. So we are correlating with the sounds of, but it is not the P of Hindi, it is P of English. It is not the B of Hindi, it is B of English. So it is the organs of the speech which are used over here for the production of English sound, which we need to understand. So to explain them in detail, let's move to the next slide where we'll be discussing these sounds in a different manner with certain examples, which is usually the image which you'll be going to see in the next slide. It is having the details in the form of handwritten. As these are the printed one and all the phonetic symbols are not written in the same way as it is given on the keyboard itself. So the next slide will help you out to understand how to write these phonetic symbols. Just for your understanding, we can take one more example. Whenever you look for the meaning of a particular word on Google itself, on your smartphones itself, if you write, let's say if you write the word characteristics, you'll be able to notice that there is something written beneath that English word characteristics which is having some different kind of symbols into it which are not readable to you. Yes, those are the phonetic symbols, those are the phonemes which we are going to study in this session. So moving ahead with the next slide, here goes the same sounds with the same set of pairing itself. So the first sound, I'll be taking slow pauses over here to explain all these sounds to you people. So the very first on the top left is P. P as in the word pen, as in the word play, as in the word plague, as in the word pallor. So this is called as P. Parallel to it, the sound written, you can see over here, the sound written over here is B. B as in bet, B as in below, B as in bell, B as in behind. So all the letters which you feel like, all the sounds which starts with the letter B to you. Moving ahead with the next one, this is T. T. T as in 10, T as in tide, T as in tile, T as in timber. So majority the words with the T letter. Next comes D sound, D as in deep, D as in depth, D as in dead. So D sound over here. So these sounds are helping you to understand. Again, we will be taking up the letter D over here. But yes, it is not possible that all the letters should be having the same kind of symbol itself. You can see over here now, this seems a little like theta to you people. It seems like an integration of mathematics to you people. So that's why I'm saying it is not similar to your words, your alphabets which you are using in English, because the sound symbols are purely different than. Next sound is the K sound, the K. As you can see on the screen that I have written two examples over here, one with the letter K and one with the letter C. But the sound lies over here is of the K and the allophones of K, which we will be explaining in the coming session. K, K as in kind, K as in cake, K as in cut, K as in coke. So, yes, we can take an example of another important word which is a subject to us, K as in chemistry, which starts with the CH, which has no connection with the letter K or only C itself. Moving ahead with the next sound, that is the G sound. Now this is the G sound for us. As in the previous slide, you can see the G is written as the printed G letter too large. So that's why I feel like that we'll be using this for the understanding of symbols in a better way. So G sound, G as in the great, G as in the good, G as in girl, G as in greed. So this is our G sound. Moving ahead with the next one, that is the F sound of English, F. Hopefully, if it is visible to you people, my upper teeth is touching my lower lip during the production of this particular sound, F. So the F as in flute, F as in fan. Even the PH word, F, as it phonetics itself, as phone itself, as phoneme itself, photograph itself. So this is first sound. Maybe the letter F or the letters PH, they can sound with the word F. Next, moving ahead with the next sound, that is V. V, as we say the video, which you are watching right now, video. Veil, willow. So, van, was. Next is so, sun, such, simple, sober. So, sound should be this. Next is z. Again in the previous signs, which is more like the Z letter to us. Z or Z, depending upon your pronunciation accent. If you follow American, you will be calling it as Z. But if you'll be following the British accent, you'll be calling it as Z. So there is nothing new trend like this that it is Z nowadays. So Z and Z both are correct. So it is more like the letter Z to us. And the sound over here is Z. The sound is Z. Z. Z as in zebra. Z as in zoo. Z as in zen. So this is Z sound to us. Z. Next over here, which seems like the mathematical theta to us and scaring many of you like anything. So this th sound is, this is th. This theta stands for the th sound. Th. Th as thick. Th as thought. Th as thin. Next to it is the sound. This is th, and I am repeating th, and this is the. The as example written on front of it is this, that, these, those, thus. So this is the sound. Moving ahead with the next one, that is sh sound. Sh. Sh. So the sh as in shine. Sh as in shallow. Sh as in the word ch also. Chandelier. So there is no compulsion over here that it should start with sh. Chandelier, champagne. These are the few examples for the sound sh itself. Now this term, this is something which is usually not to be the initial except few words. This is, if you are a Hindi language speaker, you can take it that it has some sort of combination of the sh and y sound altogether. Sh and y. Because whenever you say the word pleasure, pleasure, you are not saying it as only your pleasure. No. You are not using the sh only pleasure. You will be using a mix of sh and y, and you will be calling it as pleasure. Pleasure. As for example, the words written over here are leisure, measure. So this is the sound which seems like the combination of sh and y. So whenever we will be speaking, I will be calling it as the sound and measure pleasure. Moving ahead with the next sound, that is ch. 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 Ch as in chin. Ch as in church. Ch as in cherry. Ch as in chewing gum. So chus. Ch. Now parallel to it, the sound which we have written, that is j sound. J. So as I am going back to this sound again, highlighting it right now. This is z and this is j. If I take example from the Hindi language speakers, I will be using one example from the Hindi. We cannot call the word zameen as jameen in Hindi. Because zameen, no doubt it is another word, so it needs a dot beneath j. So zameen. Same, we cannot say the word jug as zug. So this is the difference between this z and j. Now this is j to us. Now whenever we are saying the word j, j is not necessary to be started with the letter j itself. As in the first word itself, which I have written here in the form of example to you, that it is ginger. We cannot call it as ginger, as if we take the g letter will be used for the letter alphabet G only. The g sound will be used for the letter G only. No, here we cannot call it as ginger. It is called as ginger. Ginger. Another example for this which I can use over here, where I will be using the first G letter as the g sound and the second G letter as j sound. Example for this word is gorgeous. 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 So the first G letter stand for the g sound and the second G letter stand for the j sound. That's why we call that word as gorgeous. And next to it is J letter. Example for you people, you can write the word joker over here, you can write the word just over here. Moving ahead with the next sound, which is on the left hand side again, that is the H sound. Now there is a reason for pairing these sounds in these sets of sounds. Means I have made the pair till this because when we will be taking up the next sessions on the basis of their place of articulation, their manner of articulation, as we will be going in deep in the coming session, we will be able to understand why these 9 sounds are on the left side, why rest of all the sounds are on the right hand side. So we need to understand why this left case and why this right case. We will be taking up it in the next classes also. So the sound over here is right now in front of you is H sound. H, H, as in hut, H, as in hut, H, as in height, H, as in have. So this is the H sound to us. Moving ahead with the next one, that is M, 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 as major, M, as might, M, as magic, M, as motor. Next one to us is N sound. N, narrow, nine, even K-N-O-W, no. We can use those words, night, K-N-I-G-H-T, N-I-G-H-T as well as the K-N-I-G-H-T, the night. So the N sound over here. Even in the word pneumonia, where the P is a silent word to us. Moving ahead with this sound. Now this sound can never be the initial sound. Usually it lies at the middle place or at the ending place. As I have underlined these two examples over here, that I underlined the word N and G over here and N and G over here, because this is sound is the ang sound, as in sing. Because we cannot say this, we will be speaking N and G separately. I cannot say it as sing. I cannot say it as ring. I have to say it as sing. I have to say it as ring. Singer. So this N and G combination as ang sound. Moving ahead with the next one. Now it seems more like letter J to us, but we have covered the J sound over here. So this is our J sound, which has no connection with the letter J itself, but the sounds related to the letter J itself can be produced with the help of this particular sound. Whereas this, which looks like the alphabet J to us, is having pronunciation as Y. Means this phoneme has to be produced with the sound Y. Y. Y as Y. Y as yes. Y as union. Y as university. Next one is the R sound to us. R. R as in read. R as in write. R as in red. R as in reach. Moving ahead with the next one, this sound is L sound to us. L. Royal. L. Light. L. Line. L. Leg. And the 24th phoneme, the last phoneme over here is W. Now going back a little to this sound and this sound. While the production of these two sounds, we have a difference of our articulatory system itself. During the production of this W sound, W, our upper teeth is going to touch the lower lip. W. That's why van. Whereas when we produce this sound, this is W. Here, the lips are going to take a round shape. W. As if I want to say watch, I cannot call it as watch. For watch, I'll be using my upper teeth with my lower lip. Watch, but that is the wrong pronunciation for this particular word. So I'll be using the word watch. So my lips are rounding at the beginning, and then only I am able to produce this sound, was sound. Watch. What? We cannot say what. That seems more like a Punjabi word to us. What? Water. Which? So, war. And again, suggesting one thing again and again, do not go by letters over here. Letters are purely different as compared to the sound. A very common word, wrestle. Or we have written a W example over here also, the right word. So it's not necessary that all the words which starts with the W letter comes under this category. No, what sound they are producing, that is categorizing them into the different sounds. So the W word right, because the sound which is coming out of our mouth is of R. So that's why we are calling it as right. Whereas when we are using this one, we are calling it as what. So here R is the prominent letter, prominent sound over here. That's why this is right. And whereas here the sound wo is the prominent one. And that's why we call it as wo. So we cannot say, for example, let's take one more example correlating these two sounds, this one and this one. If we are saying which or which, the pronunciation is making sense to you people. Which or which. The real pronunciation WHICH is which, the rounding of the lips, not which. Right? So this is something which we need to understand, that when we are producing these sounds. It gives me an idea to give a small exercise to you people, those who are watching. Whenever we are going to fill an article, whenever we think of filling an article, specifically let's take it as the article a and an. So whenever we are using, we fill those articles on the basis of sound, not on the basis of letter. For example, Dash University is providing that university. If we want to fill only two options out of A or M, what we'll say? Definitely if we go with the letters, we'll say U is a vowel. With the vowel sounds, teachers have guided us that we need to write an. So do we write an university or a university? No doubt it is showing us letter U over there. But the sound is of a consonant, that is Y sound. So that's why it will not be as an university. It should be a university is the place where student learns something. So this is the thing that we need to understand while filling up our articles. This is all from my side for this particular session. As we have covered now the 24 consonantal sounds, so in the next session we are going to cover the vowel sound, which will cover our monophthongs as well as our diphthongs. So meeting you all in the next class. Thank you very much.